my experiences with Joe, they vary a little bit because I, at one point was a student and now I'm his colleague and fellow alumnus. The one constant that I see, which is great, is the relationship I had with Joe when I was a student. He continues to have with our students today, which is a pretty great thing. They're always there to talk about sports, what's going on in the NBA or the NFL, and just something you can relate to. And you see that even with our young alums and our current students. When they come back on campus, they want to see JoePa. And I think that that's a great asset to have someone on campus that they can relate to as a fellow alumnus, as a teacher, as a mentor, and just someone to really to talk to. So I experienced it as a student, and I see him continuing to do that. He's done that for 15 plus years now on campus, and I think it's a great asset for the school, and it's going to be sad to not have that any longer, but I'm sure Joe will be back.
Well, the biggest thing is he is just an unbelievable innovator. He's always tinkering with things. You know, when we were coaching together, tinkering with drills, tinkering with plays, tinkering with defenses.
The first time I met Joe was back in 1984 when Joe's son Terry and I were freshmen here in Malvern, and we both played on the freshman basketball team. And I could just remember my vivid memory of Joe back when I was in high school was when we had the basketball games, and Joe would be right there sitting next to my dad, and there was kind of a crew of fathers, and they would critique the game, and Joe was the first one after the game to congratulate you, tell you what you did right, tell you what you did wrong. It didn't matter if he was if you were his son or not. Joe would offer his opinion, and it's funny how things kind of come full circle because he's still offering his opinion today.
Joe has a deep appreciation for Malvern's history, and so I think he's a great conduit between the past and the present. So when students see that Joe Redican is an alumnus, and they see how he can relate to them, I think it brings value to what they're going to experience moving forward once they leave here as a student. And I think that's a special thing to have. It
comes together really how he interacts with the kids, and he just is always championing all aspects. I mean, certainly he gravitates towards athletics, but I know, and he told me several times that how much through his job of subbing, so subbing in classes, that he got the most joy out of subbing in art classes. So he probably came to the school, wanting to coach and be involved with gym class and everything like that, but the subbing, and he told me this several times, he goes, I've gotten so much joy out of subbing in the art classes and the music classes and seeing that aspect of kids. And again, he would champion the kids and make the kids feel great.
Joe's like, to me, he's the Mr. Malvern. He'll always be that to me.
Joe's class, the class of 1960, they really are a breath of fresh air. They're a fun group to be around. Every August they get together and they'll organize horseshoes or softball, and it's just a great way for them to stay connected with each other and also to stay connected with the school. And Joe is the main driver of that. He's the reason why it continues. So he just received the Alumni Loyalty Award this past fall, and that was one of the main reasons why, is that it's great to have guys like him who just do those types of things without asking them, and they do it because they love their classmates, they love Malvern, and they see the importance of getting those guys back together.
If you speak to Joe for the first time, and you spend 5-10 minutes with him, you feel like you've known him for a while, and there aren't too many people that you come across in this lifetime that kind of has that energy and just positive vibe. And I tell you what, the only other person that I could think of, and there are some people, there's certainly some people here on campus, but one person comes to mind. That's Father Duffy. Father Duffy had the same appeal. I mean, Joe's the perfect salesman for Malvern Prep.
I am convinced that Joe invented a zone defense, a little trick zone defense called the 12 slide. I never heard of it before. He showed it to me, it was great, and I would love to spend an hour here breaking it down for you, but I know you would probably fall asleep. But I know some people are going to think that he invented a defense because he's so old, that he was with Dr. Naismith when they invented basketball. You shouldn't think like that, because that's a cheap shot. But yeah, he actually invented a defense that when I became a head coach and used, it was so successful. And every time I would use it and work good, I would call him up, and you know, he would never take credit. Like I said, full circle. It was always about, wow, that's great for you. I'm glad it worked. He would never take credit. But
well, I can think of one specific story, and this goes back to my senior year at Malvern. The basketball season was over, and there was a big, you can call it an AAU basketball tournament down in Conshohocken, a long time AAU basketball tournament, and I played with his son on one of the teams. Long story short, I ended up scoring, I think, 35 points in the game. Okay, we won the game. Now this is back in 1988, and Joe has progressively told this story year after year, and this is typical Joe Redican. Joe's a big-time exaggerator. I don't know if he does this on purpose or it's just him, but he makes everybody feel bigger than they actually are, and he makes the event that happened bigger than it actually is. So I remember when I first started here at Malvern, and Joe came on board, and he was telling the story, I guess, to one of his freshman classes. And instead of me scoring 35 points, now I'm up to 47 points. I set a tournament record, which wasn't true. So a lot of things he's telling these kids, I can only imagine. But my stats have improved over the years based upon Joe Redican. So I'm hoping that when I die one of these years, that Joe Redican gives my eulogy. That would be a nice deal.
So what happened was, you know, you're always stealing drill. So we had stolen a drill from Herb McGee, the legendary coach at Textile. And it's basically just two guys together with a basketball, and they're shooting back and forth with one hand, working on their form. So balls are flying across the two things. And I'm standing there with him one day, and he goes, "Oh, I have the best idea for this." And that's not uncommon, because he would always be saying that. Like I said, he's so innovative. And I had forgotten about it, and life goes on. And then, you know, at our wedding, when Alice and I were walking out of the church, we come around the corner, and there's the Malvern basketball team in their Malvern gear, doing the drill basketballs, and we walked out on the basketballs, and it was just unbelievable. And you know, it's just, I don't think there's anybody on the planet who has come out to basketballs flying as an arch, and it was just so beautiful, and made Allison and I feel so happy, and Joe put it all together. It was all his idea, and I think it says three things about Joe. Just this, you know, this beautiful moment. Number one, again, how innovative he is, how he's always thinking about, like, I know this will be great at their wedding if they did this. And that speaks to what Joe's did, always thinking about how things could be improved and how things could be fun and enjoyable. Second is how much he just loves Malvern Prep. I mean, it's his school where he went, and he just loves Malvern Prep. And the fact that Alice and I were both working at Malvern at the time, I'm pretty sure in the morning he thought to himself, you know, maybe I can wear my Malvern gear to, you know, Sting's and Allison's wedding. I'm sure Bertie said, no, you cannot do that. But somehow he found a way to get Malvern geared at our wedding, because the guys were wearing their Malvern things, and so he just loves Malvern, and it's just to be able to get that in there. And then the third thing is just how he knows people, and he knew that, you know, this would bring great joy to myself and Allison, and just how he could, you know, just know that Allison and I would really enjoy that, and just how he knows people, and he has a feel for people and how to make people feel happy.
He's had a career of being at Malvern Prep, and he's done a great job. You look at the way he's been recognized in the fall with the Alumni Loyalty Award, and then, you know, even today, how we're honoring him, and these people are all together in this room. And it's a great testament of a person. Anytime that people get together to honor somebody or to look back on their body of work, it's because they did something right. And I think that in many different ways he did a lot of things right for Malvern.
Joe's legacy at Malvern Prep has to be the Excel sheet he created to take care of subs during the day. It has to be. He just loves Excel. Saw coaching sheets that he made, statistics sheets that he made, and he made the sub sheet that is just unbelievably innovative once again. So that's probably his legacy. No, but more than that is just how he just championed other people, and first came the kids, the students, in all walks.
I think his legacy, he's Mr. Malvern to me. Joe is one of the, to me, he's one of the few true ambassadors of what Malvern was, what it is, and what it can and will be, and that's Joe.
Joe, I want to really tell you that thank you for your constant counsel, good advice every time I came to you. It was so special, and you are a great innovator, but it was never really about you. It was always about championing the talents of the person that you were talking to, whether it's a student, a coworker, a friend, and thank you for your wonderful contributions to this school, the school that you love, and all your colleagues and all the kids. You're a very special person, and we are so happy for you as you move into this next aspect of your life, and you are always going to be living the dream, and thank you for showing us how to do that as well.
Joe, it's going to be sad to see you not here every day. It's been great to be your colleague for the past 5 years, and it was tremendous to be in your classrooms. I'm glad that I got to know you so well. You are a perfect embodiment of what it means to be Malvern alumnus. We all love you. We'll be sad to see you go, and we look forward to seeing you on campus in the future.
Okay, Joe Redican. I was asked to say some few final thoughts. There's so many fond memories of you, Joe, and the one memory I can surely take from your time here at Malvern is one of just a true good guy, a true ambassador to Malvern. I've always called you Mr. Malvern to everybody I've met. I want to thank you for everything you've done as far as supporting me throughout the years, both when I was here and throughout my professional career here. My days with you on the basketball court, on the golf course, with the kids, in the classroom, on campus. Every one of those moments I'll cherish, and I think you know that. You're certainly a special person here. When I think of Malvern, there's a few people that come to mind, Father Duffy being one, Jim Stewart being number two. You're certainly in that top 5, and you're certainly loved by the kids, and there's a reason for that. You're loved by the faculty, there's also a reason for that. So again, thank you for everything you've done for me personally. I know I can speak on behalf of the faculty and the kids that you've experienced over the years. We all say thank you and wish you the very best. I know you're kind of stepping foot off campus and maybe out of the classroom, but I'm sure I'll see you on the back 9 at White Manor next year. Somebody has to get me back to write the scores down for the final match. Okay, thanks, Joe. Good luck. I love you. All the best.